right, we are 10 minutes away from the first loop of the Goggins challenge. I'm very excited and also a little bit scared. It's one of those challenges where, yeah, I think I can do it, but maybe I can't. Maybe it's a little bit too much. So let's see. I'm doing it for multiple reasons. Some of them are personal, like changing the narrative that goes on in my head, and others are, wanted to find out what my body is capable of. Going ultra, anything more than 42 kilometers, and also playing with some variables that I usually control. So my food timing, my insulin timing, my sleep schedule. So all of these things are going to be disrupted in some way, and I'm curious to find out what happens. And of course, this is also a big test for the diabetic, because I know that sleep deprivation and metabolic changes and running a lot on these 4x4x4 intervals, 4x4x48 intervals, is going to be interesting. Number one. Look, that's beautiful. Starting slow, nasal breathing, silence. It's gonna be long, so I want to preserve my energies. After this one, I'm going to have a small breakfast, then probably 10 to 15 minutes NSDR, non-sleep deep rest break to help my body recover and maybe get some sleep credit, because I'm not going to sleep much tonight and also the one after. So yeah, I want to be conscious of that, and try to see if I can recover a little bit in between my runs. And then I have to go to work. It's still a work day, so it's gonna be interesting. So a little bit of an update here. I've currently done 4 rounds of the Goggins challenge. It's now 8 p.m. and I'm waiting for my 5th round at 10. So this is how it's going. 16 miles so far. And well, this is my decision tree. As you can see, my ratios have been increasing. My carb to insulin ratio has been increasing wildly throughout the day. And it took me, I've been mostly in range, except for a few moments here in the afternoon. I was around 200 after lunch, around lunch. And now I just did a small mistake at dinner. As you can see, I'm trending a little bit high. So I guess this is one of the things that I really wanted to see, because now I don't know whether I should try to correct this hyperglycemia, like take a small corrective amounts, or I should just wait for the next run and let the running do its thing in terms of regulating my blood glucose spike, because normally I would take a couple of units, but I don't want to run with insulin on board. And I don't know, I think I might wait until the run and see if the running does its job. Also accounting for the fact that I'm already sleep deprived, and I'm going to be sleep deprived for the next 2 days, next 2 nights. So yeah, this is going to you know, cause some issues here and there in terms of swings. But yeah, let's just go with the flow. It's a learning experience for me. I've never done anything similar to this, so I'm, you know, happy to see what happens and try to adjust my strategy. So now I'm going to rest because I need it, and then out for another. And round 5 done. We are 20 miles in, and it was fun. First time I'm running in the evening, and yeah, as far as blood glucose goes, before I fall asleep, so we were at 255. I decided to not take any insulin and let it come down through the running, and yeah, so it's 160 trending down. So I'm going to sleep now, take a shower, you know, stay in a squat for a bit, and then I think I will leave it as is, unless it comes down more in the next 15 minutes. In that case, I will get like a small piece of whole bread with some olive oil. I don't usually take olive oil because I don't like that kind of fats, but it's the only way I can get some calories in and some carbohydrates too. But I don't want to be too heavy because otherwise I will not sleep. So that's what I will do in case. And oh, okay, it's already 153. So yeah, I will not take insulin. I will probably eat like a small slice of bread, 20 grams or so, and whole bread, and that's gonna be it. And then wake up and 2 a.m. next run. So, if you look at my face, you probably know what time it is. It's currently 1:45 a.m. and in 15 minutes I'm going to run round 6. So woke up and my blood sugar is not where I want it to be. It's way too high. I was expecting this because with, you know, this little sleep, all my calculations are, I don't know, they're not quite making sense. I also took half of the Lantus I would normally take, so that might have had an impact, but pretty sure it's mostly the lack of sleep. So what I'm going to do is I will take 1 unit. My corrective factor is 37. Wait, I will show you. It's 37.5 based on yesterday's data. So what I'm going to do is okay, 230. The activity is running, so I'm expecting this. I'm expecting my blood glucose to come down by around 37 with 1 unit. So I'm going to inject one, which should bring me down to 200, and then yeah, I'm also running, so maybe that will do something too. So yeah, okay. Squatting, the legs are okay, but I'm completely, I don't know. I don't have many words at this moment. let's just get out there and get it done. I will check in with you later. Around 2:30 a.m. It's getting interesting. All right, 2:51. Around 6 dawn, I'm officially past halfway. And let's see how the adjustment went. So I took 1 unit, and then I let the running do its thing, and oh, it's 157 trending down, so perfect. I don't think I'm going to eat anything for this, because I don't want to take any insulin first. Second, eating means that potentially I will have more trouble falling asleep. And yeah, I would also expect that not sleeping will probably spike me quite a bit, for no matter how small the snack it is. So now I'm going to sleep and then wake up again. So about to go for my 7th run. No insulin, no food, no nothing, and look at this. It has been rising again. Well, we'll just take 1 unit, 1 corrective unit, as I did for the last round, and then run. Round 7. Legs are okay. I slept fairly well. Did some non-sleep depressed before hitting the bed to calm down the nervous system, and that worked because I could fall asleep very easily. The legs are going, my calves, my quadriceps, my hamstrings are okay, meaning that the deep squat position works. And yeah, now I have, once I'm done with this, 5 more rounds to go. Blood glucose fluctuating around 215, so I'm definitely doing something wrong. But that's why I wanted to do this, to observe how my body reacts to such a disruption of, its rhythms and yeah, all of that. So I'm learning, and that's good. That's always good. So let's see how the rest of the day goes. Run number 7 done, loop number 7 done. So the blood glucose, let's see. Let me just take this. It's coming down again. This is funny because I'm not understanding the ratios anymore, the impact of running and etc. What I know is that I'm only taking 1 unit of insulin, and that is enough for coming down from 250 to 170 arrow pointing down. Now I'm going to eat my breakfast, and I'm going to take half of the bowls that I normally take instead of my predicted 70%. So I will take half of it, and then if I need to adjust or add something, I can always do that, very cautiously, of course. So breakfast time. it's time to do some math and adjust all the ratios, carb to insulin ratio, and yeah, figure this out. So as you can see here, my overall 24-hour ratio from yesterday was 15:1, but I saw that even 1 unit got me from 230 to almost 140 now. It was 170 earlier. So I think I'm much more insulin sensitive at the moment, also considering that I've just run. So my predicted ratio was 15:1. I'm about to eat 130 grams of carbs with 20 grams of fats. I'm going to eat more carbs later. But what I'm going to do, so this would be with a 15:1 ratio, 130 divided by 15, it's probably something around 9 or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take around 70% of that, even less probably. So I think I need to do some experimentation because the math is not really helpful in this situation, pure logic. So I'm going to inject 5, and then I can always add more if I see it spike, and let's see what happens. And then I will adjust my ratio, and I will keep a record of the actual ratio for, you know, upcoming decision. In terms of what I'm eating, I'm not a chef again, but it's oats, soy milk, cacao powder, bananas, chia seeds, pepper, turmeric, curcuma, and some cinnamon. And I'm going to couple this with some arugula, like a small serving of greens. I don't want to have much fiber in my body, you know, to avoid gastrointestinal distress, GI distress, I believe that's called. I'm probably going to get some apples, that's for sure, because they also keep me hydrated. And with that, yeah, that's gonna be it. Then probably some dried fruit, like some dates or dried apricots or something. And then coffee and coconut water. That's gonna be the menu. I will probably get some legumes with some whole grains or whole bread at lunch. And yeah, that should be it. Let's see. Now I'm going to rest. And on the menu for lunch, there is like some flat whole bread with some legumes, but not too much. Not too much. It's a mix of peas, potatoes, beans, and some spinach. Some lettuce, but not too much. Some hummus, but not too much. And some olives, because they have some salt and I need some salt. And then I'm going to top this with a banana and an apple and some beetroots. So here we are, last round, 2:45 a.m. at the moment, down to the last kilometer. It's been tough, it's been fun though. I found 48 hours of definitely pushing past my limits and re-establishing my thresholds, which is good for the soul. Definitely learning a lot about myself in terms of blood glucose management. There is clearly some work to do because I've been trending a little bit
on the higher end, around the 200, a little bit more than I wanted. But I was here to do some experimentation and learn. So as long as I've gathered some data that I can use in the future, I'm okay. Thank you, David Goggins, for putting together this little bit like of a couple of days, hell of a challenge. A lot of people can benefit from this. And now I will run my last 500 meters in silence and then go to sleep. And then I will see you in another video, probably for a recap of the things I've learned. Good night. Yes, it's done. It's 3 a.m. As you can see, I'm tired, but I'm happy. My blood glucose is okay. I think it's 150 if I had a look on my watch a few minutes ago, so that should be good. It will probably rise during the night. Whatever. I will have a proper dissection of everything, diabetes and David Goggins challenge, in an upcoming video though. There's definitely a lot to unpack, so I'll see you there. Thank you for following along, and yeah, go for it, do it. It's good for the soul, as I said. So, hello, this is the recap of my Goggins challenge. I wanted to kind of put everything together, all my thoughts, all my learnings of this 48 hours of madness. And it was, first of all, an amazing experience, physically, spiritually, and there are many other aspects. I recommend everyone to do it because you can really learn a lot about yourself and how much more you can do. I thought that the marathon distance was already a lot, but in truth I can run much more, and also in tougher conditions. So the Goggins challenge is amazing. I will probably do it again, and it will surely be the first one of many other ultra endeavors that I will do in the future. But the main thing for me, other than just testing my mental limits, was to experience how my blood glucose would change, would adapt to the various stressors of this challenge. So physical stress, sleep deprivation, insulin timing, etc. So this was really a test for me to understand how the body would react. And there were several things that did not work as I was hoping. First one was the insulin dose, the insulin doses that I took. So I started the race on day one of the race. I reduced my my basal insulin intake by 30%. So I only took 70% of my usual amount to kind of allow the running throughout the day to compensate for that. And I also started by reducing my bolus intake, so my meal insulin, down to 80% of my usual dose. And my strategy was to take 70% of that 80% upon mealtime, and the remaining 30%, 1 hour after after the run, after the meal, depending on how my blood glucose would behave. So, for example, if I saw that it was trending low, I would not take the remaining 30%. If I saw that it was skyrocketing or trending high, I would then inject it, knowing that it would not be an excess of insulin because I was taking only 80% anyway. However, the problem with this strategy was that yes, it was a good idea. I still think it was a good idea to a good approach, but I was too quick in reducing all my insulin, and that produced some higher blood glucose in many more occasions that I foresaw. So I should have probably be a little bit more conservative in my reductions, maybe starting with 80% of Lantus and 90% of boluses, and then adjusting as the challenge was evolving. Then the second mistake that I did was that is in part linked to the first one, was overestimating the total effort, physical effort. So yes, the Goggins challenge is very tough on the body because you're running 48 miles, 77 kilometers, almost 78 over the course of 48 hours, but you're running in smaller chunks. So the aerobic, and also at a relatively slow pace. So the total aerobic effort is not as hard as I had expected it to be, and it doesn't have the time to compound, and maybe become so heavy that your blood glucose starts to trend low every time, because I was running for 35-40 minutes at once. So that was not really as impactful as like running a half marathon or a marathon. So I reduced my insulin too much. I overestimated the aerobic effort, which was not compensating for that reduction of insulin. And I also misinterpreted and misdid a little bit my food intake. I was relying on many more yellow light foods, so slightly more refined foods like whole breads, in some cases with olive oil added, which I never do. I usually get my carbs from whole grains, intact whole grains, and whole fruits. This time, maybe I was thinking, yeah, this is an ultra, or I don't know what I was thinking. Then I need to stock up on more processed food, because who knows. And in some case, if you're running like Western States 100 or an ultra marathon in the Death Valley, that might be the case. You might need all these foods to compensate for the huge calorie deficit, but that was not my case. So that also, of course, the lower quality of my food choices and food items that I was eating had definitely an impact. And these three factors, so the insulin dosing, the overestimation of the aerobic effort, and the food intake, so more yellow lights rather than green lights like fruits and whole grains, produced a timing range that was 60-65%, I believe, and the 35% that was left was on the higher side, so around 200-220, which was of course not optimal, but I still learned something. I know what to avoid in the future. However, there were also many things that worked. So from a recovery perspective, I was a little bit scared, how to handle the lack of sleep and all these things. And I really think that
yoga nidra protocols, non-sleep depressed, if you follow Andrew Huberman, um, those were an absolute game changer for the speed up of my recovery, and also for compensating the lack of proper sleep, because even at night I could only sleep for like 60 minutes, 90 minutes at once. And it was also functional when I was running deep into the night, like at 2-3 a.m., to then fall asleep after the run. So I came back, for example, at 3 a.m. and I was running a moment earlier, and then I could not expect to fall asleep the second after. So what I did was getting in my ears like a 10 minutes non-sleep depressed protocol to calm my nervous system down, and then I would fall asleep, and I could sleep soundly for at least those 60 minutes. So that was extremely effective. And during the day I would do longer non-sleep depressed, so 30 minutes, 40 minutes, taking as much rest as possible in between the loops. So that was super effective. In terms of physical recovery, that helped, but what also helped was the stretching. So actually I did not do any stretching at all. The only stretching position that I was doing was the natural deep squat. So as soon as I would finish a run, I would just stay in a squat for 2-3 minutes. Then I would do bear walks to release the tension in my hamstrings, in my calves, in my lower back, and whatever, in my glutes. And those were the two moves, nothing else, literally. And I was a little bit afraid at the beginning, because if you look on YouTube, there are many people who say that, they are waking up with their legs as stiff as wood, as pieces of wood, and they cannot move, and their legs are full of pain. And that was not my case. Just doing some squats, natural static squat, and the bear walks was enough for my joints, for my lower body musculature, and also for my back. Was enough for taking care of them all, and making sure that they were ready to go for the next round, and I never had problems in terms of performance or pains in any of the 12 rounds. And the third thing that really worked was the splitting my boluses. So again, I was too aggressive in reducing my boluses, but that idea of taking 70% at mealtime, right when I was eating, and 30% for like 1 hour later, depending on how my blood glucose was trending, was really effective, because it allowed me to take those remaining units in case in fact my blood glucose was trending high, or just keep them if it was trending low. And that gave me enough flexibility to avoid too much insulin at once, or too low insulin. So again, I think I will keep doing that in the future if in similar circumstances. So that definitely worked and helped me tame huge spikes and also avoid dangerous lows. What would I change? Well, of course, as I said at the beginning, I would keep my insulin dosing a little bit, closer to normal, at least at the start, and then I can always change as things evolve. And then second big thing that I would change would be the food intake. So there was no real reason for me to, go straight to the yellow light foods or more processed foods. I was afraid that I would be in a calorie deficit. I was, but that was not because of that is not an excuse for jumping on processed food, which have an impact on blood glucose management anyway. So they were only making things worse, because they would cause spikes and then lows, and then excess fats, processed fats would delay my spikes during the night. So they just made everything
much worse. So next time I would rely more on fruits, whole fruits, maybe things like bananas or dates, or dried fruit, in case I need like a quick bump in energy. But that would be it. And whole grains, brown rice, buckwheat, things like that. So that would be it. Again, I think it was a huge learning experience for me. I'm happy that I did it, because it definitely upped my mental game, my self-confidence. I know I can do harder things than I thought before doing this challenge. And it was also an excellent opportunity for me to gather some data to understand how my body behaves when going past the marathon distance, when combining the running effect with the sleep deprivation effect, with the heat that there was outside. That is also a factor to consider because of possible dehydration, and also its effect on blood sugar fluctuations. So it was a huge learning experience that I've had. I took many notes, and I wrote them in some articles in my blog that you can find below. So yeah, I would definitely go for it again. I will probably, and I feel more prepared and more confident about myself in I'm taking on many more ultra marathons, ultra trails, and ultra things in general. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to do this type of things, to learn from them, and to keep proving myself that I can do much more, than that I can raise the bar, that I'm capable of more. And these are lessons that you learn on the streets, but that, at least for me, you can then apply in any other area of life, with your relationships, at your work, at your job, everywhere. So definitely happy with it. Go for it. It's fatigue, but it's good fatigue. And that's it. I hope this video helped. This video may be inspired. You can follow me on the blog, The Curious Diabetic, linked below. And that's it. See you in the next one.